There's a new street fighter on your windowsill. The weapon is peace. The word is chill.
Hello gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and get ready for the world's dumbest video podcast. And today we are doing something quite different. I'm going to do a top 10 countdown of my favourite action figure related channels on YouTube. So these are the folks that come up in my feed and I'll often go, oh hey, I like that guy. I'm gonna see what they have to say. And this covers everything from reviews to retrospectives to all points in between. These are some of my favorites, but they're not all my favorites because there are too many good channels out there. So if I don't mention anyone, then say so in the comments and maybe I'll go check them out if I haven't seen them before, or I might do another top 10 list to give them the kudos they deserve. So let's not stand on ceremony any longer. This is my top 10 list of my favourite YouTube action figure channels. In at number 10, of course, we have to have the big dog of action figure reviews. It is Shardimus Prime. With over 500,000 subscribers, this dude is the Roman Reigns of action figure reviewers. I have to admit that this was one of the first channels I watched regularly, and there was definitely some inspiration on my part to start making videos after seeing so many of his. Shardimus Prime is like the Starbucks of action figure reviewers. You always know exactly what you're going to get, whichever one you go to, and that's no bad thing because that's what you want. You want to see the packaging, you want to see the figure, you want to see the articulation, and you want to see the comparisons, and Shardimus gives you that, along with a little feature from Big Time Badass Spider-Man. So what's not to like? This is a solid review channel which stood the test of time. Why have I put it so low? Because let's face it, Shardimus Prime doesn't need any more followers. Alright? He's got enough. Time to let some of us have some instead. So you get the acknowledgement, but you only get the number 10 spot. In at number 9, we have a very small channel, comparatively small, and one that I want to give a little bit of kudos to because they're doing something a little bit different. Fronted by Intelligentsielf, TR4K is one of the more unusual little hidden gems of the toy review genre. What you will instantly notice is that this is a face-to-camera review show, which is something I always find personally more engaging. I love the fact that we have a presenter who we can see and identify with, and with Intelligentsielf we have someone who is quirky and engaging with a clear love for what they're doing. Each video is usually less than 5 minutes, so they don't waste your time, and the production level with camera, lights, and editing is of an extremely professional quality. This channel is great for quick, quirky, bite-sized dives into recent action figures. In at number 8, we have Spectre Creative, which takes a very different approach to the action figure genre. Spectre Creative is a channel that I only recently discovered, however this has quickly become one of my favourites. Taking a very different approach to action figure based content, the man behind the channel is a former action figure developer and he brings his years of experience in the industry to his videos. Rather than doing reviews, Spectre Creative dives into the hows, wheres and whys of the toy industry, shedding light on subjects that we often wonder about ourselves, such as how production runs are decided, why certain figures are sold in certain ways, and the various other topics that lift the curtain on the action figure industry. Certainly a great channel to enhance your understanding of the industry we enjoy. In at number 7, I have a joint entry. Why can I do joint entries? Because it's my channel, and we have Toy Shiz and MCU Collector. These guys both do excellent hands-to-camera reviews. That's kind of what I call like where you just see the hands holding the figure. So they do hand-to-camera reviews, but oh boy, they do it pretty darn well. So for this entry I'll mainly focus on Toy Shiz, but honestly a lot of what I'm saying can be applied to MCU Collector as well. But Toy Shiz does basic reviews with the typical setup you would come to expect, with the camera facing the figures in front of a plain background, and we see his hands showing off the toys with the voice providing the audio description. So with a by the numbers setup like that, why am I recommending his channel, or MCU for that matter? Because they do it really, really well. Toy Shiz and MCU Collector both have vocal delivery that is upbeat and energetic, while also providing genuinely useful insight and opinions on the figures in question. Combined with slick editing, with camera cuts and angles that keep you entertained and engaged, both these channels really are perfect examples of how you can do the basic style of reviews, but make them highly entertaining. In at number 6, we have DAmazing, and DAmazing is someone who includes photography with dioramas, multiple figures, and all these little accoutrements, if you will, that make for an excellent review. So DAmazing is one of my go-to reviewers anytime I want to see someone's opinion on a figure I'm considering and look at how it holds up to other figures that might be vying for my money. Dee's presenting style isn't particularly over the top, but that is often a good thing because it's clear that he's not trying to get himself over, but rather focus all the attention on the figure at hand. What really sets Dee apart for me is his production quality and how he presents figures on the screen. Each video will use a fantastic looking diorama background, which really makes the figures feel alive when he shows them off. One of my favourite aspects is the comparisons at the end of each video. This dude compares the figures that he's looking at to everything else out there, and it's always so much fun to see how different lines stack up next to each other. He won't just compare legends with legends, he'll compare them with NECA, Storm, McFarlane, you name it, and it's so much fun to see all the characters side by side. Add to this fantastic photo galleries at the end of each episode, and this dude is really killing the game. In at number 5, we have Review Spot, and this is like the most kind of analytical review channel. If you're really not sure about dropping money on a figure and you want to understand the ins and outs of it, this is the channel to look at. See, if you're purchasing an action figure but you want a detailed deep dive into it before parting with your money, this is the place to go. My goodness, this is a thorough review show. With an individual figure review lasting between about 20 minutes to half an hour, there is never the slightest detail skipped or glossed over. Now, I will admit that the presenting style might be a little dry for some, but that's a benefit to this style of review. This is no nonsense, full detail toy review, and I dig that, because to be honest, I'll be the first to admit that my caffeine-induced motor-mouth kind of style would probably wear thin after a while, especially if you're poring over minute details. This is where you want like an analytical type view that works really well in this context. So by the time Review Spot has finished poring over whichever action figure it might be, you will probably feel like you have as deep an understanding of what this figure involves as the reviewer himself does. In at the number 4 position, we have Laura Legends, and this is another one of the face-to-camera presenting type styles that I'm a big fan of. When we have a presenter speaking directly to the camera in this manner, it feels like I'm watching a Saturday morning kids show with a presenter and a set that just gives off a fun feel and a vibe to the proceedings. Laura is an engaging host with what appears to be a real, genuine passion for collecting and the action figure genre, which comes through with her bold, fun delivery. With videos that cover all sorts of topics from basic reviews to top 10s and retrospectives, this is a channel that always brings something new to the table. Coming in at number 3, we have Toy Galaxy, and this is possibly one of the most professional channels out there, I think, in terms of production, lighting, design, and presentation. Again, it's another face-to-camera show, and these guys do deep dives into your classic nostalgic childhood favorites. So Toy Galaxy is based around creating mini retrospectives about our favorite franchises from the 80s and 90s. From Transformers to Boglins and all points in between, these guys absolutely run the gamut of all nostalgic favorites you could possibly think of. What's also appealing about this channel is the level of production quality. This is what a show about toys with a studio budget behind it should look like. This is as professional a production as you could hope to find. Also, the fact that the presenter has an excellent presence and comes off as knowledgeable and informative while still remaining likable and engaging makes this a fantastic channel for nostalgic retrospectives. In at number 2, we have one of my absolute favorites, which is the Fwoosh. This guy covers everything from news to reviews to kit bashes and customs. It's a really fun kind of all-encompassing channel. Plus, with his laid-back kind of vocal style, it just sounds like molasses pouring into your ears. It's a real, I'm going to stop with that voice, but it's a real nice channel to sit back and listen to because he has a great verbal style. Add to that a very friendly, neighborly kind of approach. I really dig the Fwoosh. So the Fwoosh has to also be one of the most consistent YouTubers out there. Having established a big following with his approachable, friendly, neighbor next door type delivery, Robo covers all the happenings from the toy business on his channel that has almost daily updates. Whether he's reviewing new figures, showing off customs that he's been sent, or covering the newest news and announcements on his incredibly thorough weekly news updates, this guy is always a pleasure to watch and most definitely the best way to keep up to date with all the latest news and releases of the action figure game. Next up, before we get to number one, I'm just going to do a couple of honourable mentions. We have X-Manny, who does your typical kind of hands in front of the camera sort of review, but he has a really nice setup, a fun kind of approachable vocal delivery, and I think he's kind of on hiatus with his channel at the moment, but I think there has been some activity recently, so it'd be good to check back on there, because I have a feeling he might be picking up again and carrying on from where he left off. Sometimes it's really good for creators to take a break when you feel like you need to, so hopefully he's done that and refreshed himself, and I look forward to seeing more content from him in the future. Next up, of course, I would be remiss not to mention my fellow UK creator, Super Sorrel. Ash has a really fun channel where he does what I enjoy, which is the face-to-camera sort of delivery. So you get to know the person and the personality behind the reviews. And it's a fun, upbeat, jovial kind of production where you can guarantee whether he's talking about something that he likes, loves, or is kind of indifferent to, it's always going to have that, hey, this is what I'm doing type approach, and I dig that. Always good vibes only there. Another fellow countryman I want to give a shout out to is Dan Who with Dan Who Reviews. This is a great channel not just for reviews but also for discussion and conversation. Dan has loads of guests on his channel and they will sit back and talk shop for hours on end, and it's always a pleasure to listen to these guys talk and chat and discuss all the latest news and happenings in the action figure world. And a channel that has come along and made a big impact in quite a short amount of time is Nerdzoic. Big Nerdy himself will not just do reviews, but also top 10 videos as well. And these are top 10s that have been excellently well researched, looking into prices and costs, what things sell for on eBay, and different things that make up the information that he then puts into those lists. It's not just opinion pieces, but stuff that actually has a lot of good research behind it. So yeah, big shout out to Nerdzoic for some really fun, creative content. And finally, I'm going to recommend and sort of give a big shout out to an old channel now, which is Glenn Webb. This is a creator who I didn't know about at all until I started producing videos, and people would say, oh hey, you kind of remind me of Glenn Webb. And I was like, well, we'll see about that. Let's see who this guy is. And I was like, oh, this is really, really good. And very sadly, Glenn Webb's not with us anymore. He passed away a few years ago, but it's a testament to how great his videos were that people still reference him to this day. They still compare me to him, which is a massive, massive compliment. I would never get tired of hearing that, because the guy was so friendly, approachable, likable, energetic in his reviews. Honestly, I can't see a comparison. But I think that if you want to go back and just see an earlier toy reviewer who really made a wonderful kind of niche for himself, then I highly recommend going and seeing some of Glenn Webb's old videos. Now guys, it's time for the number one selection. Who is the best action figure reviewer or channel on YouTube? And there can be only one. Of course, the number one best channel on YouTube is Displaying Model Behaviour. There are no other challengers. I am the greatest action figure. Wow, I went full macho man. No, I'm only kidding. Of course, I'm not going to put myself at number one. That's for the people to decide. No, my favorite number one action figure review channel is, at the moment, at this point in time, Jay Hernandez. Jay Hernandez, I feel, is a bit of a hidden gem in the action figure community. This guy pours so much work and creativity into his videos. They are really on another level. What's most important, above and beyond all else, is how engaging and likable the presenter is. And in Jay's case, this guy's just a pleasure to watch chat and talk about action figures. Always coming off as friendly, passionate, but also just chilled out and likable. He's a creator I'm always more than happy to sit back, relax, and enjoy. What's most impressive is the intricate detail he puts into his reviews, especially when it comes to editing in pictures, angles, music, cutaways, all sorts of things. I can tell you from experience how long it takes to edit anything. Anytime you put in a picture or a zoom or a camera cut, that just builds up over time and makes the editing process feel like it's taking forever. But you can see that Jay Hernandez is not afraid to pour the time, love, and energy into his videos. The love, energy, and passion that's poured into each and every video review is just there to see on screen, and it makes them not just informative, but something you can actually go back and enjoy just as a creative, entertaining piece of YouTube content. And guys, that was it, my top 10 list of my current favorite action figure channels on YouTube. Tell me, who did I miss? Who did I not include? I'm always amazed when someone points out a channel to me that I've never seen before, and then I click on it and it's got like 500,000 subscribers, and I think, how does this not come to my attention? Sometimes the YouTube algorithm is baffling. With that in mind, if you enjoyed this, then please like, share, and subscribe. And if you really want to support the channel, I love that I say that as an ultimatum, like, oh, if you really wanted to support the channel, you'd go over to Patreon. But that's a terrible pitch. But yes, over at patreon.com/displaying model behavior, there's lots more bonkers content on there, and you can enjoy it for a few shekels a month. But guys, thanks so much for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Chill.
Top 10 favorite Marvel Legends or any other kind of action figures. Whoa, I almost had it there. Why did I stop? Why did I stop?